BTS friendship? Shocking facts about Jungkook and Jimin revealed from family. In the midst of the sparkling BTS name that still shines even though its members are undergoing military service, a news emerged that shook the armies around the world. Not from the media gossip or unfounded rumors, but comes from unexpected confessions delivered by those closest family of Jungkook and Jimin himself. Over the years, the public witnessed the incredible closeness between the two youngest members of BTS. Jungkook and Jimin, often referred to as Jikook by fans, not only does it show warmth in front of the camera, but it can also often be seen supporting each other in private moments that are rarely known to the public. Recently, in an informal interview that was never intended to be made public, one of Jungkook's family members mentioned that there was someone who meant a lot to Jungkook, but now they rarely speak. The question is, who is calling? But the follow-up makes it all clear. Before entering the army, Jungkook was very moody. We think it's due to stress or fatigue. But then she said, "I'm not ready to lose him." But maybe he left first. We don't have to ask who he is. Jimin's name is not mentioned directly, but every army knows very well who is closest to Jungkook in the last 5 years. And what makes the heart choke the most is the fact that the phrase sounds like an expression of loss, not just longing. Not so long ago, a statement from Jimin's relatives also appeared on a closed forum. In a private family event, a person close to Park Jimin's family said, "Since mid-2023, Jimin has been seen often alone. She was still as sweet as ever, but lost the light in her eyes." We think it was due to job pressure or a sense of loss when Jin and the others started enlisting. But when we asked him who he was most worried about, he said Jungkook. This recognition provided a deeper layer of emotion than what the public had previously thought was the natural distance between the members due to their respective activities. Apparently, there were worries, there were changes, and there was a relationship that was tenuous, although it was never publicly announced, according to information from one of the agency's staff who did not want to be named. A small conflict did occur between the two before they each entered the military. The source said that an unreleased personal project sparked disagreements between Jimin and Jungkook. Although not a big quarrel, it is enough to give emotional distance. Jungkook feels misunderstood, and Jimin feels abandoned, the source said. They cared too much for each other, to the point that no one wanted to be honest about their heartache. Of course, no one can answer for sure. But one thing that fans hope for is that the relationship built over the years will not fall apart just because of a momentary misunderstanding. Because on many occasions, both Jungkook and Jimin always say that their friendship is not something that is easy to find, let alone replace, and if we read more into their body language in the last broadcast before the draft, when they stand side by side but rarely look at each other, we can feel that there are still many things they want to say, but are not ready to say. One other fact that has been sticking out lately is the story about the personal belongings that each of them still keeps. According to the staff who took care of the BTS dorm before they moved to the military dormitory, Jungkook never moved a small picture frame from his nightstand. When asked what was inside, the staff simply said, "Not an ordinary photograph." But that was the moment they were both in Japan, smiling with sparkling eyes. Meanwhile, from Jimin's side, there is another story that is no less exciting. On a rare occasion, Jimin's cousin had uploaded a photo of Jimin's room at their family home, with one corner of the closet containing a small doll gift from Jungkook. The doll was already getting worn out, but still stood upright. A memory that stands against time. Someone close to them said they love each other too much to hurt each other, but they're also too stubborn to start over. That sentence probably best describes the situation at hand. Not hostility, but I see growing from old wounds that were never dealt with. In an official letter Jungkook wrote to the army before enlistment, he wrote, "I'm sorry if I didn't look warm before. Sometimes people change not because they want to, but because they haven't found a way to stay who they are without losing someone." This sentence later went viral, as many believed that the someone in question was Jimin. In the midst of all this, the army's hopes remain lit. They believe that relationships built sincerely for more than a decade will not collapse just because of time or ego. They believe that behind the silence, there is still a prayer tucked every night, maybe by Jungkook, maybe by Jimin, maybe by both. And as RM once said in BTS's speech at the UN, if we can't connect by voice, let's connect by heart. ARMY now hangs their faith there, that even if their voices have not been heard from each other for a while, their hearts still speak to each other. In silence, in dreams, and in hope, and no one can be sure. But if you look at the way Jimin looked up at the sky in his last broadcast, and the way Jungkook suddenly fell silent when he heard the tune of Friends, there's something unfinished. Something that's not over yet, and like other great stories, maybe they just take time. The time to heal, to understand, and to dare again is approaching. Because sometimes, even the strongest love can hurt. But true love always knows the way home. A few weeks after the rumors surfaced, there was an incident that was almost undetectable by the public. One of the military reporters who used to monitor the activities of South Korean celebrity conscripts leaked that the military secretly rescheduled the placement of night duty shifts between two soldiers, Jungkook and Park Jimin. The reason is not explained, but many believe that this rescheduling is related to indirect requests from both. It's as if the two of them don't want to cross paths, but also don't want to go too far. In an internal document that cannot be photographed, only one sentence makes the hairs stand on end. The two are silent, but always ask each other through the liaison officer. This news suddenly spread in the ARMY community with mixed feelings. Haru, sad, but also relieved, because silence does not mean hate, but maybe it's a form of love that doesn't know which way to go. There is also the story of a civilian volunteer who helped organize the delivery of packages to soldiers from families and fans. He said that in one of the packages sent to Jungkook, a postcard with no sender's name was tucked away. But when opened, there is only one sentence. You know where you can find me if your heart still remembers the former direction. The volunteer said that after receiving the card, Jungkook looked depressed for several days and even refused to appear in the force's official documentation photos for a week. That's not unusual. He who used to stand quietly in the middle of the line now chose the most marginal position, as if storing a heavy burden unknown to others. In a massive ARMY forum, thousands of fans began to make open letters to both. "We don't need you together on camera," wrote one fan from the Philippines. "We just want to know that you forgive each other. Hug each other in your hearts, even if it can't be for real." The letter received thousands of replies, and somehow, some HYB staff liked the post on their personal accounts, as if to signal that they also read, that they also care. And sure enough, a week later, in a small internal event at the headquarters, two names appeared on the list of participants in the joint exercises: Jungkook and Jimin. This is the first time they have been in a single training session since almost the last 4 months. No photos, no videos. But they are present in the same room, breathe the same air. Jimin and Jungkook's relationship, if it's true that it was cracked, doesn't mean it was destroyed. Like glass that is cracked but not yet broken, there is still a chance for repair, as long as both of them still keep the fragments of trust and courage to talk. The ARMY believed, and they will continue to believe. Because behind all the popularity, military schedules, and pressure of the world, there are still two young men who once vowed to take care of each other, on stage and out of the spotlight. And perhaps, when the night at the base is completely quiet and everyone is asleep, two voices will meet again, albeit only in a whisper. "I'm still here, if you still want to talk." Many people think that friendship is always about fluid communication and constant presence. But for two hearts that were once very close, sometimes silence is a form of defense. The form of a wound that has not yet healed, but also does not want to be forgotten.